I've set up 2 sticks, one that's going straighter back, one that's coming at an angle. So Eric, go ahead and take your grip, take your setup. And kind of a simple way of taking an on-plane backswing would be to simply point the golf club at a straight line as it extends away from the ball. Okay, that will lead the club to be parallel to that line. When we add our soft little circle, that's going to drop the club to the inside, which is basically giving Eric permission to start turning. Okay, that way we get the low point of the swing past the ball. So we go out on one stick, soft little circle, and start turning, turning, turning.
I want to talk to you today about Live View Golf. Now, you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live View is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. All right, guys, so let's talk about this clockwise drill to drop it in the slot and how you can shallow the downswing. Now, as you can see, we're not at home. We're out here at the Mike Bender Golf Academy in Lake Mary, Florida, just outside of Orlando. And there's a gentleman to my left you may have seen before. First repeat customer or offender, however you want to say this. Second time on the channel. The first time we've had someone for the second time on the channel, Mr. Marty Nowicki, the Director of Instruction at Turning Stone Resort in upstate New York. Marty, thanks for having us out here.
Than's for having me, Eric.
Appreciate it.
Good to be with you.
All right, Marty, so let's talk about this clockwise drill to drop the club in the slot. Now, I think it's important to say off the bat that this was something that I saw you do. Yeah, clockwise drill.
Sure.
So very nicely
done.
And
to give proper chops, I got it spending time with Mike Bender.
Okay, perfect,
so,
perfect.
Yeah, it's fitting that we're doing the drill at his academy. So
yeah.
Take your grip.
Sure.
Let's jump right in.
Cool.
Hold the golf club right up to my hand, Eric.
Cool.
And when you're doing this, I like to make sure that the lead arm stays ahead of the golf club. And as Eric is watching the club, we are going to try and make soft clockwise circles. Now, a couple key ingredients here. When I have my students do this, I'm very aware, I don't want to see your fingers sliding around on the golf club. I don't want to see your palm readjusting itself relative to your thumb so that we truly feel it in both wrists, okay?
Got it.
So as we add that little clockwise move into a downswing, that is your shallowing move. So it's so key. We've done some videos in the past where it's like, if you're going to turn, you had better shallow. And if you shallow from here, you had better start turning big time. So that drops the club, shallows it, or drops it in the slot, as people would like to say.
Yeah.
And it's a real simple feeling. How people go do this drill incorrectly is they actually let the club go past their lead arm. We know the importance of the lowercase letter Y.
Yep.
Okay, so if I was a wall right here, I'll put Eric at a slight angle to this wall. That way he creates his lowercase letter Y and learns to make these clockwise circles. Be really intricate with making sure that the fingers are not moving around on the golf club.
And I think there's two key points here as we're doing this. I think one with the idea of the wall in front.
Yep.
So if someone's at home, a literal wall would be good.
It would be.
Golf bag.
Yeah.
Right.
And stand at a slight angle so you can create your lowercase letter Y.
And the point of the Y and the point of the wall, because I think when I looked at it, that helped me so much.
So
it should never pass it, right?
Well, we don't want to smash into the wall, but you can use the wall now as a reference for what does your club face look like.
Yeah.
Because when we make that circle going back, the face effectively opens a little bit, and now our wrists are making these intricate moves to get that face right back to square.
Got it.
Okay.
And I think the point here being when we're talking about shallowing the club, we talk a lot about how to use the body to do it. That has its role.
Yes.
And I think you and I would mostly agree that in the beginning phases, certainly of learning to hit the ball well, hit a draw, solid contact, you want to learn how to do some of this with your arms and hands.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. There are some micro moves involving the wrists and the forearms, that I think if people understood how to uncock their wrist, how to move their wrist bone slightly forward, so we call that ulnar deviation and flexion, or a lot of people would say uncocking and bowing.
Got it.
Tie that in with a little bit of, as my hand moves, my left arm, lead arm, moves counterclockwise, that's supination. So when you do all three of those things, there are actually some really intricate forces that get applied to the club that go into the ball.
Got it, cool. So guys, hopefully that makes sense in terms of concept-wise. We're gonna go ahead and talk about a little bit about how to actually apply this and start hitting balls with these feels. Okay, so let's take a quick look here at shallowing the club and what we're talking about. Obviously, Brooks Koepka here right in front of us. A little bit more of an exaggerated example, but we will be able to see. What I'd like to do is take the player back to about left arm parallel. When left arm is parallel to the ground from face on, and we'll go ahead and draw a line down the shaft just to indicate where the shaft is in space. And of course, when we're talking shallowing, we're talking about the direction the shaft moves and is pointed. Now you can see during the downswing pattern that obviously if we get back to left arm parallel again by the orange line here, that the shaft now is more shallow or on a flatter, if you will, plane during the downswing than it was on the backswing. And that's really what we're talking about here in this video and drill, and what we're trying to do. A commonality amongst great ball strikers is that that plane of the club is on a flatter, more horizontal, whatever term we want to use, shallower angle than it was going back. Here we have Henrik Stenson, and we'll do the same thing. Now again, these guys that I have here, you can see they have a little bit more of a vertical backswing angle, which does highlight and make it a little more exaggerated when you see the shallowing. But part of the point of that too is you can tell as you go back, and part of what you're going to get out of this drill is that the backswing being a little bit more vertical with the shaft does make the shallowing easier. It makes the shaft being more horizontal during the downswing easier. So there again, you can see downswing more shallow than backswing. We'll pull up one more guy I like to use a lot, Hideki Matsuyama. We'll get him left arm parallel, red line down the shaft. Now, the more on plane or horizontal the shaft is on the way back, typically you'll see a little bit of a less exaggerated shallowing move compared to when we go down, but still the same pieces here. You can see that shaft angle definitely on a more horizontal angle on the way down than on the way back. That's what we would define as shallowing the club. Again, one of the few things you would see amongst probably 98% of great ball strikers. All right, guys, so let's talk about how to apply this drill. Now I want to start hitting balls with these feels. Let's
yeah, we're going to start with some little half swings. I've set up two sticks, one that's going straighter back, one that's coming at an angle. So Eric, go ahead and take your grip, take your setup. And kind of a simple way of taking an on-plane backswing would be to simply point the golf club at a straight line as it extends away from the ball. Okay, that will lead the club to be parallel to that line. When we add our soft little circle, that's going to drop the club to the inside, which is basically giving Eric permission to start turning. Okay, that way we get the low point of the swing past the ball. So we go out on one stick, soft little circle, and start turning, turning, turning.
So I'm going club head back on the orange as I work back, and then I'm kind of on the way down getting my whole shaft parallel.
Parallel to the yellow.
To the yellow, got it.
So that drops it to the inside. So if you're someone that has a tough time drawing a golf ball, this would be a great drill for you.
And so maybe in the beginning phases, and I want to try doing a couple of reps of this. Maybe I have my bag or wall, etc. I'm doing a couple of these. I really like this circular feel for someone who's used to pulls down the shaft, it comes over the top, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, this just to get a general idea with a wall here, keep the shaft and club head behind where my left arm is, and get a sense of what that feels like, and then couple that with, hey, back on here, through on there. Unless I have a grip pressure of 9 million out of 10, right, that feels like I would be able to implement that if I'm willing to feel a little different and start to hit some shots with that.
Sure, and you touched on something important, and it's hard for Eric and I when we teach online, or it's hard for us to feel what people are doing. So go ahead and take your grip, and this is really what I should be feeling. So if Eric squeezes that club, I shouldn't be able to get it from him. Now relax your shoulders and your elbows, not your fingers, not your fingers, relax your wrists. Your arm should be this loose. So I can't get the club from Eric, but his arms now went on a pressure scale from about 9 down to about 4.
Got it.
Which now when we do this little exercise, that's even softer, isn't it?
Yes, got it. And when you're doing this, the point of this, right, would be especially if you're someone who's been trying to shallow, you know you're too steep, right? You're trying to shallow, haven't been able to do it.
Right.
Right? And you want to say, hey, listen, I want to change that shaft. I see a ton of evidence, right, that the good ball strikers do it. I want to get the shaft a little shallower. Start with this, start short and slow, and we're going to hit a couple where you record it from down the line.
Big time.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people have been taught, and there are models that work well this way, but if your arms pull too fast, that's going to start to steepen the shaft.
Yeah.
So here, it's like once I start to make my circle, I kind of want the weight of the club to just fall.
Yeah.
All right. So my fingers have to be secure enough on it so the club doesn't move. My wrists are loose enough to let the weight fall. Why that's important as we get to bigger swings is now with a heavier club, there's more mass to swing out to the ball. Mass times velocity equals force.
I don't know if I'm too good at the math stuff, but I get the point of that. Let's hit a couple. Let's get a couple shots here with this. So I'm working on the wall piece, right? Which I kind of like doing up here, parallel to the ground.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Love it.
So I'm kind of feeling a clockwise motion of the club from my view.
And I do this with a lot of my students. I'm going to throw a second stick out here.
Yep.
So if Eric made a practice swing, I'll act as the wall. I want your shaft to stop at this wall. So go ahead and make your backswing.
Yep.
And then drop it to the inside and turn, push off. And now Eric's shaft is right on top of a vertical wall. Now we can check the club face.
Yep.
And if Eric dropped the club, it would line up
right
at about a 40-degree angle or so, 45-degree angle would be simple math.
Got it.
So that you have a checkpoint for after you make the motion.
Yep.
What does it look like? And I like to say, make another rehearsal swing, Eric. And just as a simple checkpoint, you just dropped it, you turned, you pushed off, you stopped right here, and I like to say, okay, belt, chest, arms at the target, club slightly behind that, and you should see the ball have a slight draw within a swing or two.
Let's try one. Let's see if I can hit one here. Now I have a short club here. I would say I would do a couple of these motions. I'd rehearse one or two, maybe even record myself on camera before I hit to confirm what I'm feeling. Then I'd hop in with a ball, start at like a level 1, start short. I'm looking for this to look good on camera at this point. If I hit it good, great, but I want to see the shaft shallow. I want to see the shaft shallow in transition.
A little baby draw there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking for, Marty. Me who gets a little underplane, if I overdid this, I'm going to see one or two thin ones in the beginning. That's fine. If you're someone who's over this way, again, you want to do this, and if this shaft is here, Marty, I would say some people in the beginning, they might be feeling like the shaft is freaking way,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
big time.
Yeah, big exaggeration.
Big time, yes.
Yeah.
I exaggerate this with people that are perennial over the toppers. So I go back on one, down on the other. Or I'll even put an obstacle there that they have to physically go around. Like I'll put a stick in the ground or a golf bag. Or sometimes I just stand there. So go ahead and take your setup.
Okay,
take your setup.
Okay.
So here's an exaggerated version. Miss me on the backswing.
This way?
Keep going.
Yep.
Miss me on the downswing.
Yeah, gotcha.
There's your circle. Now turn.
Yep. Got it. Got it.
Now, I don't trust everybody as much as I trust him.
So guys, the beginning parts here of shallowing the club, understand that the arms and hands have a role, the body motions have a role, especially through the beginning phases. Learn how to use your arms and hands to do this stuff. Record your swing. It doesn't matter if you don't hit it perfect. You want to make a little bit of a difference here. When you look at that on camera, you can adjust how much you need to exaggerate as you're doing it. So guys, hopefully this little drill helps you drop it in the slot and get that shallow effortlessly.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you like this video, I want you to watch both of these videos above. They're going to talk more about shallowing the downswing, some additional information and drills that will really help you. If you guys did like this video, do us a favor, help us out. Click the like button down below, click the notification bell, and please subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.